Good morning, everybody. Wow, is it Friday already? Does not feel like Friday, does it? Glad everybody made it. I have a few headlines to get caught up on, and then I want to do a full hillbilly reveal. Never go full hillbilly, but I actually did. So I'll show you guys that at the end of today's show. I finally got some snake boots. You guys were on me for safety reasons and said I really need to make sure and protect my feet. Stop walking around in flip-flops. You're not in California anymore, Toto. And so I'll show that to you guys at the end of today's show and some updates on the Honey Milk Ranch. Let's get caught up on some of these headlines and see what's going on in the world, because things are getting really weird. Now, we've been following this Bud Light story, and apparently Bud Light has some new ideas to get back its fan base. I mean, this is one of those funny moments in time when the controllers realize how delicate their little control structure is. And then we see them scrambling around as they start losing all their money. And they are very dependent on us, aren't they? We don't even realize how much power we have. And their dependent and their deception is to keep control over us and to keep us obedient. That is their only power, is their deception. Now, Bud Light is much lower on the food chain from the controllers, but it's one of the tools that they use, right? It's one of the tools that the controllers use. If you haven't figured it out by now, they are the marketers. They are the ones who present these different things to us, brand recognition. They get us addicted to these things, and then they capitalize on that, and they make all this money off of us. They're essentially like vampires. They have the keys to understanding psychology and what causes people to buy things and become addicted to different brands and to associate psychologically with certain brands. And then they weaponize that against us. And a lot of these things make us sick, but they don't care because it's addicting. Now, companies like Bud Light are also used for them to make money off of, and it's like bait for the puppets. If you haven't figured something else out by now, these puppets make money off of things that they invest in. And basically the enemy says, okay, hey, look, we're going to create this product called Bud Light. It's beer. It's going to really tap into middle America. It's going to basically be something that people relate to and associate with. Okay? We'll put some horses, the Clydesdales, as the symbol of strength in America, even though this isn't what America represents anymore. Farmers are now looked down upon. Everything's being corporatized. There is no more Clydesdale horse culture in terms of the origination of that culture. And so they tell these people that they control as puppets that are controlling us. The enemy says to them, hey, you invest in this, that, and this, and then I'll give you a bunch of money through those investments as we continue to deceive the people that are consuming all these things. And this is how it works. And there are certain dips in the market, and those dips in the market end up actually benefiting the people who invest in it, or it can work against them. Benefits them when they plan the dips in the market, but when they don't anticipate the dips in the market, like with what happened with Bud Light, they thought they could sneak this one past everybody. They could start to program people. Then they feel the pain. And how do we know they feel the pain? When they come out like Donald Trump Jr. did, begging for people to stop the boycott on Bud Light. See how this works? I'm hoping you guys are starting to understand how the enemy controls us. because the people like Donald Trump Jr. and the family are invested in these companies, and they did not anticipate the backlash, did they? So they were losing money through their noses. Rich people control the very stocks that they bet on, which means that they always win. And it's me and you who always lose in the stock market. I don't invest in the stock market, but most Americans with a decent job do put away money towards their 401k. In the long run, that money is sitting somewhere, isn't it? And you might make a little bit as the market grows, but there's going to come a point where the fluctuations in the market aren't even going to be worth stacking your money up in it. It's almost like storing up for yourselves gold and silver. You're much better off with real goods, real objects, real items that you can use in the here and now. Things that you get that are used or at a good price that will last you your entire lifetime and help you weather the storm of the last days. A good dwelling, good tools, some guns, ammunition. These are the things that are going to have real value moving into the last days. Anything above and beyond that, you really don't need. Oh, another thing is seed. Many of you mentioned seed. Those are also good things as well. I don't know how storable seed is, but these would be things. So, we have these gaffes that happen every so often that reveal the true secret, like this Bud Light gaffe. Also, many of you will remember the Robin Hood gaffe and all the other times where the market forces took over, real market forces, and made these people lose their shorts. Let's read about what Bud Light is planning, what their bright idea is to turn this whole thing around. Bud Light hopes to win back disgruntled fans with new branding move. The saga of the woke beer trudges on as all-American beer drinker Anheuser-Busch InBev makes another non-confrontational move to appease a vocal portion of the consumer base. Not just a vocal portion of the consumer base. This is the central portion of the consumer base. Notice how they're trying to minimize this. It's not just someone who's loud and disproportionately represented. It's the central portion of the consumer base. So they still don't get it, do they? The company's famous Bud Light beer has been on the receiving end of a boycott thanks to a promotional ad featuring transgender TikTok celebrity Dylan Mulvaney. In the wake of the controversy, Bush has been eager to distance itself from the issue entirely. See if this ad comes. Okay, good. Now, interestingly, the trans crowd is also boycotting, Bud, saying that, they didn't stick up for us. They distanced themselves from it. And so now they are distancing themselves from Budweiser as well. Bud is looking to win back its audience by associating the brand with one of America's other favorite pastimes. Now, this camouflage print. Bud and Bud Light aluminum bottles are reportedly being redesigned with a special camouflage print, a pattern usually associated with sport hunting. So now you see the manipulation. This should offend everybody that they can just flip-flop back and forth and manipulate your mind with a simple camouflage print. They literally think this is going to help them get their people back. Now, here's the big elephant in the room, as I always say. What people don't realize is that the LGBTQ crowd is still a very, 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 very small portion of America. They're trying to make it a significant minority, but it's really still under the 1% mark. And especially the trans crowd. And so what we have here is, instead of them Budweiser playing to the base, which is what they should be doing, they're giving up and still not apologizing. They're giving up their base for a 1%. They're appeasing the 1%, and this is the trend. It's been happening in our culture for at least the last 10 to 20 years. Appeasing the 1%, which suggests there is an agenda. This is not organic. It is being forced, isn't it? And it also suggests that Budweiser is under something else's control, something much more influential, much bigger than it itself. Largest beer company in the world, and they're still under the thumb of the serpent. It has to be the serpent. It has to be. Because that's the serpent's agenda, isn't it? So they think that putting camo on the bottle is going to bring people back. And I hope everyone who drinks Bud Light is listening to this and understand what's really happening here. That still there is no apology. Still there is no appeasement of the people who made Bud Light who it is over the last, 100 years. Let me check in with you guys. We'll get into some more of these stories. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Good morning. Now, I hope you're ready for this one, because guess what? They figured out where the fungal apocalypse came from. Are you ready for this? Oh boy. Wait, what else do we have here? I'm missing some stories here. Hold on, let's get back into this beer thing. Iconic sports team pushes back on Disney. Bud Light controversy with its latest stance. So now, the Los Angeles Dodgers, uninvited, the queer and transgender group, the Sister of Perpetual Indulgence, to its 10th annual LGBTQ plus Pride Night, scheduled for June 16th. So, they're still having their Pride Night. Okay, that's the obvious, but they disinvited a particular group. So now all of a sudden the Dodgers are in big trouble. Now, I don't know about you, but they're still having a Pride Night. So what does that mean? Obviously, that means that they're already going 3/4 of the way down the road. So does it really matter that they disinvited one group from that event? No, it doesn't. This is the shape of things to come, you guys. Overrepresentation of underrepresented groups. And now let's get into this fungus story, because now here we are again blaming countries for things. First we had blame China for the China virus, right? And now we have blame Mexico for the fungus apocalypse. And what does this do? It continues the right-left divide, doesn't it? Because guess what people will say next? Well, the people on the right will say, see, this is why we have to secure the border. Mexico, which probably has absolutely nothing to do with the fungus apocalypse, but this is what their new playbook is. Let's read this. Federal and Texas health officials are alerting Americans and clinicians about the suspected cases of fungal meningitis among U.S. residents who traveled to Matamoros, Mexico for surgery. Now, I have a close friend that I've known for years and years. He went down to Mexico to get his teeth worked on. Apparently, it's much, much cheaper than doing it here in the United States. And it's sad. We live in America, right? And to get your teeth fixed, you have to pull out a second mortgage on your house. And you might say, oh, I have insurance. Well, that is until your teeth start rotting out and you realize how much it costs to put implants in. These implants can cost as much as $6,000 to $8,000 per tooth. Some of you have been through this. I know my friend spent $40,000 to get his mouth replaced. $40,000. That is a travesty. This is what's happening in America. Your teeth start falling out, and you have to pay a second mortgage on your house to fix your teeth for one person? Unbelievable. Now, I've been blessed. I haven't had any cavities my entire life, no fillings, but that's not the case for a lot of people. And so it's a hustle, isn't it? They are hustling the American people. So I tell you guys, the American dream is a lie. We're all one missed paycheck from homelessness. We're all one mouthful of cavities from homelessness. Unless you get out of the beast and you stop feeding the beast in every way, shape, and form. Now, people say, oh, well, I think a lot of this might be genetics. I have to admit that it has to be genetics because I eat sweets and I pretty much brush maybe once a day. I don't brush every time before I go to sleep. People say, oh, you just have to take care of your teeth. Well, I know people that take care of their teeth and they still get cavities. So I don't even know what that's about. But I can tell you this. I think it also has something to do with people that maybe smoke. And my friend smoked. Could have a little bit to do with drinking, although I've been a light drinker and I was a heavy drinker earlier in my life. But so does it even have to do anything with that? Who knows? The fact is they don't know, do they? Have you seen any studies that are cut and dry about why people get cavities? No. I can tell you this. The minute they start drilling around in your mouth, that's when the problems start. I've never had anything drilled in my mouth. And I don't particularly floss often. I'll floss if I've got something in my teeth, but that's at best once a week. And at worst, monthly. So, is it genetics? I don't know. Is it fluoride? I don't know. Now, when I was a child, I did remember one fluoride treatment I got, and I remember one x-ray I got. I mean, who knows? Maybe the x-rays are weakening people's teeth. And they said I had some pits in there, and I was like, I think I was like 12 or something. And the next time I went back, they took another x-ray, and magically there were no pits in my teeth. So I don't know if my teeth recalcify. I don't know. But do you ever hear a dentist telling you that your teeth can recalcify themselves? No, they never tell you that. They say, oh, we need to start filling those holes. And I think when you start doing that stuff, it starts to ruin your teeth. Now, as you guys know, I was Seventh-day Adventist for probably, I guess it was during the majority of my first marriage for 15 years. I was Seventh-day Adventist. And we didn't eat meat and stuff. And interesting thing is there's a big Adventist school for dentists. And a lot of my friends, when I was in that life, were dentists. They all went to, I think it was Loma Linda or something. And so, you know, these educations cost a lot of money. $200,000 in school loans. But every dentist that I knew lived in a big house and saw lots and lots of patients and made tons of money. They had those school loans paid off in a couple years. Not the lifetime of school loans that most of us have to pay off, right? So, you have to ask yourself, is this whole thing a hustle? Have they not solved the problem about this intentionally? To intentionally inflict misery on people and to take your money. Why is it that it's only been in the last 10 years that they've realized that putting fluoride in water is not good? How did we get through all those years and decades and nobody knew the truth about fluoridated water? Now all of a sudden they're starting to admit it and starting to take it out of water supplies. So understand that people that are in power don't care about you. I don't care who it is. There are always lies left on the table. Always. Now, what else do we have here? Let's go back into these. Okay, here we go. Where are we at here? Oh, here, let's get back into this fungus apocalypse story. I don't know how we got off on that tangent about teeth. Hold on. All 5 patients traveled from Texas to the border city of Matamoros to get surgical procedures that involved an epidural, which is an anesthetic injected into the area around the spinal column. The patients are women in their 30s to 50s. The procedures, all cosmetic, took place between February and April. Symptoms began 3 days to 6 weeks after surgery, said Chris Van Dusen, a spokesperson for the Texas Department of State Health Services. Authorities in the United States and Mexico are investigating the source of the infections, whether the cases are linked, and whether there are more cases that have not yet been reported. Okay, I'll stop the crazy voice. There's a booming medical tourism business south of the U.S. border where dental procedures, cosmetic surgeries, fertility treatments, and even veterinary care are typically less expensive than those in the U.S. Matamoros is the site of the attack in March on 4 Americans that resulted in 2 deaths. See, they're trying to scare everybody. Now, I would not go down south of the border to get medical procedures, but I know a lot of people who do. And so, the problem here is they need to fix our medical system. People shouldn't be having to go down to Mexico. If you have dental insurance, it shouldn't be this much to get your teeth fixed. That's why you pay dental insurance. Okay? So, corruption. Now, this next story is disturbing. If you had any doubts about Kanye West's mental health, or if you had any doubts about if demonic possession is real, look at his wife's... Wait, his wife? He has a wife? Yes, apparently Kanye West got remarried. And his wife is in this new photo shoot. What the heck is this guy doing? This is crazy. Now, his wife's name is Sensory, kind of like the word censor. And the only part of her body that is covered up or censored in this photo shoot is the absolute bare minimum. So viewer discretion is advised before I show you these pictures. This might be disturbing to some people. Some people get triggered by this stuff. But in this case, we have to show this because this is just ridiculous. Now, nothing shocks me anymore. Look at what she's wearing. She's got a cross above the exit only because that's normal, right? Wow. These people have to be either demonically possessed or they have to be very, very sick. And snake rovers is now a normal thing. Completely normal. Let's send snakes to slither around other planets and moons. I'm not making this up, you guys. One of you guys sent me this story. NASA engineers hope to send a robot snake to explore Saturn's icy moon. Look at this thing. Literally a snake. So if you had any doubts if that NASA doesn't mean Hazatan, the serpent himself, you can see it right there in the logo. The tongue of the snake, Hazatan. If you had any doubts of who these people serve or the truth about travel in space, hopefully this will help to wake some people up. Scientists at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory have developed a snake-like robot that may one day slither into crevices on Saturn's icy moon. Enceladus. The robot explorers that have landed on the surface of the moon and Mars have been able to roam over rocky terrain using metallic wheels capable of traversing dusty or sandy surfaces. But wheels have their limitations. As we discovered with Mars rover Spirit and Opportunity, each was equipped with 6 wheels, but Opportunity got stuck in sand dune for a month, while Spirit got stuck in sand in 2009 and never got out. Another limitation of wheeled rovers is their inability to deal with rough terrain. If a hill is too steep, the wheels may slip, and the whole vehicle risks tipping over. So rovers have been sent to fairly safe areas. So what they're doing here is that they are worshiping the serpent. They're basically explaining to you how perfectly made a snake is. That a snake can get across any terrain and it never gets stuck. How creepy is this? They're literally telling you how great the snake is. The Mars rover operators have also avoided icy terrain because, as anyone who drives in winter conditions knows, getting stuck in snow and ice is far too easy. So now there's snow on Mars, apparently, and ice. One new approach to rover mobility is to abandon wheels altogether and emulate snakes, which are very good at maneuvering through unusual terrain. The reptile conforms its flexible body to whatever obstacle it encounters and slithers around or over it. Look at the prototype here. The snake-like robot called Eels at a ski resort in Southern California. Look at these people. Let's count how many people there are. If there's 13 people, I'm going to fall out of my chair. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Wait. 13. That includes the snake. There's a guy back here. There's 12 people and a snake. Unbelievable. NASA's EELS project, short for Exobiology Extant Life Surveyor, is a 4-meter long mechanical snake with 10 identical segments. How long is 4 meters? 4 times 3 is 12. It's about 12 feet. Like the 12 tribes of Israel. 10 identical segments which encased in a shell that forms a helical screw. Oh, there's your, there is your portal. The helical screw, the serpent in the chest. These people won't stop at anything. Let me check in with you guys. We'll finish reading the story. Unbelievable. You know, nothing shocks me anymore, but this actually kind of does shock me because they're pretty much revealing what's going on. They're revealing the Nakash, the serpent, the NASA. People say, you're crazy. What? It's just a snake. Or some people like snakes. Snakes are cool. The Bible says something different about snakes. Let's keep reading this. The rotating screws grip the ground. Move it forward and we'll even be able to self-screw through ice. Meanwhile, the joints between segments enable it to slither from side to side and even lift its head up like a snake sniffing the air. In fact, its sensor head contains cameras and object-detecting LiDAR. Remember that snake that came out from under my freezer? Poked its head up like a periscope? See how amazing God is? He reveals things before they happen. You just have to be listening and watching. Don't you? This story, released on May 12th, we were talking about the periscope snake under the freezer long before that. Wow. All right, let's keep reading about this. Engineers began building the first eels prototype in 2019, and they'll have plenty of time to develop their robot. They hope this flexibility, along with its skin-like force-sensing actuators to help it feel its way around, will make it more adaptable to extreme terrain. A prime target for eels is Saturn's moon, an ice world with geysers spewing water out of cracks near its south pole, suggesting a subsurface ocean and possibly a haven for alien life. So, this is our future, you guys. Snakes. Weird. See if there's any more pictures in this article. This is right off of the NASA website here. JPL. Well, there's another picture of it. So it's a helical corkscrew. Yeah, I mean, because that's normal. Let's just come up with a serpent in the chest portal corkscrew snake to slither around places. Unbelievable. All right, what else do we have here? Well, if you haven't heard by now, East Oregon wants to be part of Idaho. I don't know if the controllers are going to allow this to happen. Greater Idaho movement claims 12th Oregon County to vote in favor of moving the state line. Have you guys heard about this? Do any of you live in Oregon or Idaho? Basically, this looks like it's going to pass. People are voting on it. After Tuesday night's special election in Oregon, the long-shot Great Idaho Movement has claimed victory in 12 eastern Oregon counties, despite results not being finalized as of Wednesday morning. The movement's proposal calls for 14 full counties in eastern Oregon to move to Idaho, as well as the eastern side of a number of counties in central Oregon. Wallowa County, located in the northeast corner of the state, bordering both Idaho and Washington state, voted on the ballot question requiring county commissioners to discuss the possibility of moving the Idaho-Oregon state line westward. So, people are voting in favor of this. I think there's a map here. Okay, here it is. So this is what the new America would look like. The new 50 states. It'd still be 50 states. But this is Oregon here. This is Idaho. And all of this red part of Oregon would become part of Idaho. Now, will they let this happen? I doubt it. It's just like the reparations thing for black people. They talk about it, but will it ever happen? I don't think so. I've heard so many stories of things like Texas seceding from the Union and all these things that people think are gonna happen and then they never happen. The controllers have way too much control and they'll sabotage something like this pretty quickly. Would it even matter if part of Oregon became Idaho? I've even seen Idaho pass some questionable laws that don't align with the people who live there. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. Now, what else is going on? Well, look at this. An amazing revelation by one of you guys, Tom Hindy, in the comment section. Might be pronounced Tom Hind. Always leaving great comments, fully awake. And I read the comments, and one of his comments was talking about how Monsanto built the world of tomorrow at Disneyland. Let's read this. This is crazy, you guys. Monsanto House of the Future at 33 degrees north parallel was an attraction at Disneyland's Tomorrowland in Anaheim, California. From 1957, there's that 5G number, to 1967. Wow. It offered a tour of futuristic home and was intended to demonstrate the versatility of modern plastics. Look at this thing. It looks like a giant owl house. This was actually Disneyland, you guys. It looks like a giant owl house. Sponsored by Monsanto Company, the House of the Future was made possible by Monsanto, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and Walt Disney Imagineering. With this project, Monsanto wanted to demonstrate plastics versatility as a high-quality engineered material. Look at the opening date here, June 12th. 6/6/6, 1957. June is 6 and 12 is 6 plus 6. It opened on 6/6/6, 1957. Let's keep reading here. The design team for this innovative structure included MIT architecture faculty Richard Hamilton and Marvin Goody, founders of Goody and Clancy, and MIT civil engineering faculty Albert G.H. Dietz, and blah, 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 blah. The house, featuring 4 symmetric wings, cantilevered off a central core, was fabricated with glass-reinforced plastics. The attraction offered a tour of a home of the future, featuring household appliances such as microwaves, which eventually became commonplace. It's because they already knew what the world of tomorrow would look like. The house saw over 435,000 visitors within the first 6 weeks of opening, and ultimately saw over 20 million visitors before being closed. Closed in 1967, the building was so sturdy that when demolition crews failed to demolish the house using wrecking balls, torches, chainsaws, and jackhammers, it was ultimately demolished using a choker chain to crush it into smaller parts. The plastic structure was so strong that the half-inch steel bolts used to mount it to the foundation broke before the structure itself did. Reinforced concrete foundation was never removed and remains in its original location, now the Pixie Hollow, where it has been painted green and is used as a planter. Well, we got to click on this now. What the heck? This is crazy, you guys. This is the Pixie Hollow, where the foundation of that Monsanto building of tomorrow. Look at this. Tinkerbell's house at Pixie Hollow. Huh. That's a whole nother rabbit hole we're not going to go down today. So I want to show you guys the ranch and everything. Well, let's keep reading here. The concrete base can be seen covered in camouflage and netting over the top of Disneyland's signature Go Away green paint behind the Pixie Hollow sign. The legacy. The House of the Future has had a significant impact on later design at Disney and Epcot. In 2008, Disney announced it would conceptually bring back the attraction with a more modern and accessible interior. The 15 million Innovations Dream Home was a collaboration of the Walt Disney Company, Microsoft, of course, Hewlett-Packard software maker, Lifeware, and home builder Taylor Morrison. In 2010, MIT Museum architecture curator Gary Van Zandt gave a presentation on campus where he showed archived drawings and photographs of the plastic house. The talk, titled Back to the Future, a 1950s House of the Future, was part of the Cambridge Science Festival. And now you're seeing the beginning from the end. Because the world of tomorrow and Monsanto, Back to the Future relates directly into the World's Fair world of tomorrow, and Trump's billboard, the homes of tomorrow, that appeared at the 1939 Corona Park World's Fair. Biff and Trump's DeLorean that he had parked in front of the golf tournament at his New Jersey golf course. They already knew what the world of tomorrow would look like. Wow. All right, let me check in with you guys. And we're going to get back to the Honey Milk Ranch. I'll show you guys my new boots. Now, Sunday is going to be crazy because one of you, actually Tracy, purchased the 1985 children's book called Co, the Dragon at the Center of the World. Here are the pages right here. She sent me screenshots of all of these. She found the book, I think, for $60, which is still way more than anybody should spend for a children's book. But she got it. She sent me screenshots. There's dragons eating their tail and a giant Ouroboros. There is a Wuhan, China map. This is 1985, you guys. There's dragons kissing children. This is not good. So we'll go over all that on Sunday's show. But for now, let's get back to the Honey Milk Ranch. All right, you guys, I had a close call at the wood pile out there the other day. I was spraying those weeds dead, and a snake slithered off. Now, I don't know what kind of snake it was, but when they're close enough for you to hear them slither off, that means you had a close call. So I took all of your advice and all your prayers. I think a few of you sent in a little bit of money to help with these boots. And so I went on Amazon and I got these boots. Now the boots were a little over $100. I think it was $130 delivered. But I wanted to try on the boots for you guys so you can see. There are the boots. And I wanted the square nose on the boots because I felt like my foot would fit in there better. But if you do happen to get these particular boots, you want to be careful because they're sized about a half size bigger than you'd normally wear. Now I wear a size 13, but I kind of have a wide foot, as you can see. Sorry, my feet are a little bit dirty and I got tan lines from my flip-flops, which I won't be wearing anymore, so that tan line will go away. I'll be wearing my muck boots, my cowboy boots from now on, so I could be safe, so you guys aren't worried about me tromping around out in the yard. So these are half size bigger. Let's see, what's the brand on these? Oh, these are Wolverine is the brand. Now they make these without the design for like $10 cheaper, so they're like $100 out the door. So I'm not sure if this is something that you guys would be interested in, but this was the cheapest I could find that was pretty good quality. And as you can see, they slip right on. So it's official. I am now a redneck, or whatever you call me. I got corrected the other day. People are like, you're really not a redneck, you're a hillbilly, because I am in the hills. But these are cool shoes. They feel comfortable. And now this is no socks, of course. I do plan on wearing socks. But now what I really liked about these boots is that you don't have to like pull them on. Like you literally just, as you saw, you just dip your foot in there. And because I was always worried about that. I was like, man, if it's hard to put these things on or take them off, then I don't want them. But it actually worked out, as you saw. Gosh, what a beautiful sunny day. My neighbor gave me some wood, and I covered up with a tarp to help finish the ceilings. And I should probably take you guys inside now because I promised you I would. I don't think we've done that yet, really. So now I'm going to give you guys a tour of the house, and many of you are asking to see the rest of the house, so I'll give you guys a tour of the house and make sure we're connected first before I continue on here. Good morning, everybody. Welcome, welcome. All right. Wear socks or stinky feet? Yeah, I got to put some socks on. Thanks, Marcy. Okay, let's watch this here. Showed you the living room, but I haven't showed you like everything else. I'm really glad some of you are enjoying the homestead videos. Oh, so that's the ceiling. Got part of it done, and neighbor gave me all that wood to finish most of the rest of it. It's just installing this stuff. I mean, if I had the confidence in myself to do it, I would get a nail gun and put this up. But you got to make cuts because you don't want to put it all the way across in one pattern. You have to stagger it. So already that's over my head. And then he's got these blocks up here because some of the pieces didn't want to stay in place and they were a little bit warped. So stuff like that, like I don't know how to do, right? Once he gets those up, he'll cut out holes, and that's where the lights will go in. So I've got them on a dimmer switch. So when it's all done, it'll look pretty cool. Let's take you in the bathroom. Now, the other hard part about putting a tongue and groove ceiling in is you have to constantly measure, because if you start skewing the install, then what can happen is you'll get to the end and you'll have like an uneven last couple boards that go in. And so it's just going to look funny and you have to make all these cuts. It's a little bit stressful to put in a tongue and groove ceiling. It's hard enough to put tongue and groove on a wall or a floor, but in a ceiling is somewhat difficult. There's the bathroom. And I really recommend these over the toilet racks. They're super cheap on Amazon. I think they're like, I don't know, 30 bucks, 50 bucks, something like that. And they basically create space. I don't have really any closets. I didn't design any closets in this design. I actually designed this myself. I forgot to tell you that part. I'm talking about storage closets for like, linen closets and stuff like that. I didn't design any of that into this design, although the bedrooms do have closets. I do have a drafting background from high school, and I did drafting and architectural design, and all that was what I was supposed to do in college, civil engineering and drafting and architecture, but ended up in marketing. But anyway, I designed all this, the interior part, because it was just these empty shells. So I had this wall added, the kitchen built out. I wanted this room to be open, which it is. Now, if anybody's interested in this design, just hit me up. I'll send you the plans that I made. It's two sheds side by side. Now, if I had the chance to do it again, I would have turned one of the sheds sideways and then built a connector hip roof to it, just because I'm having a little bit of debris issues in the valley where the two houses are connected. It's like an M design, so the roofs connect like the letter M. So I would have done that differently. But if you want to hit me up, I have this floor plan. I can just send it to you. It's a PDF file. There's the bathroom position. That is the washer machine. Let me turn on some light in here. Oh, let me give you the prerequisites. So these sheds, back when I got mine just before the lumber boom, and like I've told you in previous videos, I had to finance it for a little bit. They're fully financeable. So, I mean, for a few $100s a month, you can finance it, but I wouldn't recommend that because you end up paying a little bit of interest on that. It's actually quite a bit of interest. If you can, just try to save the money. There's different dealers who sell these sheds. This particular one is a Dirksen building, they're called, and you could just go to Dirksen.com and they'll hook you up with the closest dealer. And they're very well made. And like I've told you guys, the other mistake that I made is I did not put a vapor barrier around the shed before they created it, because they create these on demand. So you basically pick out all your doors and windows and everything, but you can pick these things up for, not very much money. I mean, they're like 20 grand for the big one, but then you add the doors and windows and the price can go up from there. And then the smaller ones are like $5,000, something like that. So that's kind of the general cost. But again, you can rent to own them or finance them. If you're in a situation where you bought some land and then you just wanted to have something to live in, it's very easily, you can easily do it. So it costs a lot less than rent. Let's put it that way. If you're renting somewhere and giving away your money to someone else that you're never going to get back, this is the alternative. So instead of paying rent, you get these and do kind of like what I did with it. Now I have the washer machine and the dryer separated, but it's no big deal. You just throw the stuff in a basket and move it over here. There's the tankless water heater. Now let me turn this on. I want to show you guys. This is cool. Alright, let's get the hot water going on here. Look at that. Now, this hot water heater was on Amazon. I think it was like 500 bucks. I got this a long time ago, and I was a little worried because it was on Amazon, and I was like, is it even going to work? And in actuality, it works great. Look at all that plumbing though. So my contractor Ben did all this plumbing, and I've got this set to 130 degrees, I think. And this thing will run and run, and it's connected to the propane, and never had any problems with it. The only problem I had with it, and I'll show you that in a second, you're gonna laugh. The only problem that I had with it was critters were coming into the house. Every morning I'd wake up, I'd look on the wall or middle of the night, and there would be a darn spider crawling. I'm like, how are these animals getting inside? This whole thing is spray foamed. It's impossible. Well, this is how they were getting in. Those are vents. Those two vents to the left are the vents for the bathroom fans. 2 bathrooms. It was actually 1.5 bathrooms. And then they close when it's turned off. So it's like self-closing, I guess. I don't know exactly how that works, but it is. And these 2 vents. So as you can see here, I basically cut out some screen and I shoe glued them onto the ends of these vents so that critters couldn't come in. Had no screens over them. So I'm like, okay, that's where the animals are getting in. Those are vents. I don't even know what those vents are for, but I think that's how the critters were getting in, because there were spider webs up there. I was like, that's how they're getting in. So I cut out some screen and I shoe glued it to the front of the vents to prevent critters from coming in. But I did the same thing for that larger vent that you see all the way to the right, which is the vent for the tankless water heater. And when I put the screen on, apparently the tankless water heater did not like that. It created just enough resistance to cause the tankless water heater to error, sent an error code, and would shut off. So I pulled the screen back off, and now everything's great and fine. But that's what was going on. Now, let's continue the tour here. 3-hour tour. No. All right, you guys. Let's turn this off. Now, everything's not done, of course, but it's getting there. And, you know, slowly but surely. This was supposed to be Max's room. Now, some of my mattresses got tore up a little bit in transit. You know, they're riding on the back of a trailer. And so these are patches. You can get these on Amazon for like $8. And you can, they're iron on. There's also stick-on patches. Really good for fabric stuff. So it's got tore up a little bit. But this is going to be my king bed. And I'll put that in probably at some point. Right now I'm just on a little twin mattress, and that's fine for now. But this is supposed to be Max's room, and got his little room on dimmers. He's not coming back though. he met a girl. And put a little half bath in here for him. So, you know, he can have a little sink. And there'll be a vanity in here at some point. And a mirror. And he's got a little toilet. And so he'll have kind of this whole side of the house. He's got a closet. Gotta get used to walking in these boots. Probably shouldn't walk in them too long without socks. Now here's the dryer. One mess up was I didn't put the switch to the light for the dryer area in the hallway. It's actually in my bedroom, which is here. This is going to be my... Here's another hack. They have these clear door stoppers so you don't mess up your walls with the doorknob. And these just stick right on the wall. This is my master bedroom. So, unfortunately, I'll have to turn that on if there's someone in the house that wants to use the dryer and they can't get in my room, like if it's my son. Otherwise, I guess that'll just be a guest bedroom. But here's the dryer. And, of course, the washing machine is just right there. Now, what else do we have? Welcome to the master bedroom. Now, it's a little bit messy, so apologies. But this is my master bedroom. It's nice and cool in here. You guys, these mini splits are really good. Once you get the kinks worked out of them, they are great. They're fantastic. But here's my bedroom. My phone's going nuts right now. Here's my Hornet killer. I got 2 cans going. Well, I don't know. Oh, there it is. There's the other can there. And here's the view of the property and the road. I wanted a lot of windows in this bedroom just so I can kind of enjoy everything, you know, and feel like I'm literally outside. This part of the house is up a bit. It's actually about 4 feet in the air, 4 or 5 feet in the air, as you can see by looking outside. And there's the grass. Trying to get that grass growing. Rose said it took them several years to get their grass growing. So here I was thinking my grass was just supposed to spring up. I did remove the thistle out there because there was like 20 or 30 plants. I don't want them to take over, so I went out there manually with the crowbar and removed all the thistle. Careful not to destroy the grass as I was walking on it. Well, here's the deck, and there's the property there. There's a closet here. Now, for those of you that don't know, they make these racks at on Amazon. You can get them. I measured the space, and I was able to put this rack in here that fills up the space and provides some kind of storage here in the closet. So it's nice. I really wanted to have the ceilings as high as possible because I'm 6'2". I didn't want to feel closed in. So eventually these lights will all be inside, recessed into the wood that I got. Hopefully we'll have enough wood. If not, I'll have to get some more of those planks to install in the ceiling. I'm regretting it a little bit because it takes so long to put in. Even though I got the wood for free, it might have been less expensive to just put drywall up there like I did in Max's room. But who knows? I'll probably be pleased with it once it's done. So that's it for the tour, you guys. I promise to take you around and show you everything. I have a horned owl, I think, or a gray owl that comes out and hangs out in that tree there. Lots of squirrels come around. Usually they're eating my grass seed. Forgot to show you one of the most important things. Oh, come on, open. This is called a transfer switch. Ben installed this. He's really good at everything. This transfer switch takes the whole house and switches it over to this plug outside. Here. Then the generator will go in this little building that I made. See, I did do a lot of this stuff myself. I just didn't have everyone else do it for me. I wanted to save some money, so I did some of this stuff myself. And the generator will go in there. It will run on propane, and when the lights go out, first you come out and start the generator. Then you hit the switch and it'll switch everything over onto the generator power. And that's how this works. That way you don't have to have extension cords and all that. It's already wired into the house. And it's a lot safer than plugging into what they call the dryer outlet. They call that a pig. And you can light up your whole house that way for power, but it's a little bit more dangerous because if the power comes back on, it will send feedback into the circuit, and it'll blow fuses, and it'll mess somebody up down the line or something if somebody's working on the line or something. So I got to get the propane hooked up to the generator. I have a dual fuel generator here. It's just sitting there. It's never been started yet. Dual fuel generator, and it'll run propane. So hopefully get that project in before winter so that I'm not without power, because it's very important. Now look at these weeds, you guys. I just sprayed these yesterday with the salt water. So that's what salt water does to weeds. That is amazing. No Roundup necessary. That's the fastest I've ever seen weeds get killed. Ooh, look at that cool. It's like a wasp. Look at him. It's like a really skinny wasp. It's an anorexic wasp. Whoa. What is that? I don't know what that is. It almost looked like an ant. Now I had to come out here and do some ant control, because remember those ants were crawling on here? Well, they're still crawling on here. Look at something about this that they like. I put baking soda in some jam. Don't think that worked very well. I just went to the store and got baking soda and powdered sugar. We're going to try to sprinkle that around, see if that does a better job. But obviously they're not dead yet. Maybe it takes a while. But I sprinkled some of this jam. Actually put it right on top of their nest, because I think there's a nest around here. Yeah, you can see them. Look at them. Red ants, black ants. See how they're just right here at the edge of the forest? Like, the forest is very much alive. And right at the edge of the forest is where all the activity begins. Now, I would not want to kill them, but the problem is they're going to eventually try to build the nest in my house. And if they do that, they're about half as bad as termites. They'll literally come in and start eating away the wood to basically create their nest. They don't eat wood, but they build their homes inside the wood. And I saw this firsthand out at the wood pile, because I was starting to clear those wood pieces, and there was a nest of ants in there, and they did a lot of destruction to these pieces of oak, just basically biting out entire sections of it. And I don't want that to happen to my house. So that's one thing you got to do. There's always something to do at the ranch, because there's always critters trying to take back the space, right? But I have a feeling that there's a lesson in all this. I have a feeling that this is all part of God's plan. This is a part of his plan. And if we just listen carefully and be still and know that he's God, we'll see how all this fits together at some point in our lives. So that's it for reals this time. Much love, you guys. Take care and be safe. Thanks for watching that, you guys. Much appreciated. Let me go back into the chat. That's the update on the Honey Milk Ranch. Let's go into the chat here. Good morning. Uh-oh, some people have power out. So Kim has power out in her house. Are there storms, or I wonder what's going on? Let's let that chat catch up. All right. Yes, I just saw neem oil. I ordered some of that. Some kind of animals eating all of the leaves off the elderberry trees that I just planted. I just got from Rose, and so I looked up some recipes on that. You could spray neem oil on it and it will get rid of the critters. Boric acid for ants. Thanks, Kenga. Thanks, everybody. I'm in Arkansas. Kevin asked where I moved to. Now, where I'm putting the salt down, obviously, I don't ever anticipate anything will grow there, okay? It's the driveway, so I'm never going to plant anything in the driveway. But I don't want a bunch of weeds coming up in the driveway. There's multiple reasons, you guys. I don't just go around spraying salt everywhere to kill everything. Ticks like grass. They love tall grass. And as the deer walk through them, the ticks attach onto the deer. And so there's multiple reasons to keep grass down on your property, okay? And the soil is not very good here in terms of growing. So I won't be growing things directly out of the soil. I'm going to have to actually make my own soil. And I'm going to have to put raised beds on a property at some point when I decide to make a garden. So these are multiple reasons why you want to keep grass down on your property. A couple people were upset because I was killing weeds. So that's the explanation. And until you live out here, you really don't know, because there's a lot of things. Also, snakes love grass. You could be walking through tall grass and get bit by a snake. There's multiple reasons to keep these things under control in certain parts of your property. Now, I'm not going to go around and spray salt water over my entire property. Obviously not, right? I'm trying to actually grow a lawn just below the property, for erosion purposes. Someone else said, why are you growing grass there? Well, it's erosion. So I'm on a slant. I'm on probably 15-degree slant coming off the back of the house. And every time there's a hard rain, there's gullies down the side of the hill. So in order to prevent that, you've got to grow something in it. Now, I can't grow trees there because the septic field is underneath it. See, there's a reason for everything, okay? I don't just do stuff just to do it. I can't grow trees on the property over the septic field, let's put it that way, because the roots will go down and ruin the septic field, ruin the pipes that are underneath the ground. So I have a spot for the orchard, and that's further down the hill below the septic field. So, yeah, that's what's going on with that. Yeah, I can't really terrace the septic field because it's not very deep under the ground, so you can't start going over it with a bulldozer. So that's the problem with that. Yeah. All right. All right, you guys. Well, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. I'll see you guys on Sunday. And again, this is going to be a crazy show on Sunday. The dragon at the center of the earth, Felicity, California. We're going to get into all the pages of this book, this children's book. Nobody has opened these pages yet unless you have your own copy, because there's nowhere else on the internet where anyone's covered this yet. So this will be a first. It'll be 9 a.m. Central Time on Sunday. So I will see all of you guys then. Have a great rest of your weekend. Take care and be safe, everybody. Much love.